Hi, this is Janine with KitalouDoodles. It is week 30, July 22nd, 2024. I'm excited to be back this week. This week we have up some topics that we're going to be discussing are going to be visitors at Kitaloo, different generations, and then as well as our pup update. Again, we're in our puppy silo. You might hear some little barking and things like that going on in the background. Just a little glimpse of inside one of our puppy silos. Okay, first up is our visitors. So we love having visitors. We love having the puppies held by lots of different types of people and things to get them accustomed to various, things that they can be exposed to whenever they go out away from us. Visitors, however, we limit till they are 6 weeks old. And the reason why we do that is because we want their first set of vaccines in them before we let visitors onto the property. And most of the time it's visitors that have already committed to a particular puppy. So it's not everybody. And that's for the safety of our pups. There's so many in our area. The vets always talk about parvo just being so bad in our area, unfortunately. And so one of the ways that we've been able to make our puppies as safe as we can is to limit visitors until they have that first set of vaccines in, and that's usually around that 6-week mark. But on the other hand, we want you to be able to see your puppy and you to see our facilities like we're doing here and things like that. So we don't mind doing FaceTime or whatever other video chats that we can do to let you see the puppy and be able to know a little bit more about us as well. So we love doing that. So if that ever interests you, give us a call. We'd love to set up a time to be able to FaceTime and show you our facilities or show us a particular pup. That we love to do because that lets you know who we are. But as visitors onto our facilities here, we always like the pups to have their first set of vaccines. So that's the first topic. And then the second one we have that we're discussing today is generations. So different generations. A lot of people are like, what is F1? What is F2? What is F2B? What is, all of these, what is BB? What does that mean? So I thought I'd just do a brief rundown of different generations of golden doodles, or actually any of them. They all work the same way. So if you have a sheepadoodle or any type of cross, this works the same way of classifying generations. So first is that F1. F1 is the first generation of a mix. So whenever we're talking about golden doodles, we're talking about a golden retriever and a poodle. So F1 means a parent of each. F2 means a mix of the first generation. So an F1 golden doodle with an F1 golden doodle makes an F2 golden doodle. So those are the pretty standard, straightforward. And once you get to F3, oftentimes people start calling it multi-generational. So I found that's pretty standard of what I've seen with many breeders is once you get to F3, they just call it a multi-generational doodle or whatever. And so they don't classify it anymore. Because after the third generation, you're really more talking about a pretty standard generation, so the generations don't matter. Now, F1, there's some wonderful characteristics in F1. F1 and also F1B, which let me go ahead and discuss F1Bs. So F1B means an F1, which is a golden doodle, first generation, with a poodle. Now it could be a golden retriever, but oftentimes breeders don't go back with a golden retriever because then you'll have a lot of shedding and things back like a golden retriever does. So oftentimes that's what you're seeking. So poodle is usually the other one. So you would, like I said, have F1B would be a first generation golden doodle with a poodle. And that gets an F1B. Let's go ahead and do an F2B since we're on this type of generation. F2B means two different options. One is an F2 mom or dad with a poodle, which would be F2B, meaning they have one of the standard, like the standard, like golden retriever or poodle is what I'm trying to say. Or it could be that you have an F1B with an F1, and that would make an F2B. I know this gets kind of crazy of the generations, but there is some reasoning on why those things are important, and each generation has its pros and cons. So let's go back to an F1. An F1 is a wonderful breed. It has the health vigor that often vets are talking about. There is the first generation has usually got a lot of those wonderful golden retriever personality-wise. Oftentimes that gets expressed in that first generation. Some of the downfalls of the first generation is whenever you're trying to downsize. Like in our case, we like the minis. And so we want to downsize. So that means that we're taking a golden retriever with a toy poodle. And the sizing then can result from that first generation can be all over the place. It could be as large as the golden retriever or as small as that toy poodle, 4 pounds or something. Oftentimes it's somewhere in between. So oftentimes I would, unless you're knowing it's okay for you to have a sizing any in that spectrum, then the F1 generation may not be for you. We like to do an F1B, which means we go ahead and we find a mama that's in the right sizing of that first generation and get an F1. And then we have a poodle that's a comparable size. Now ours are usually a Moyen size, possibly a miniature, depending on each of the mamas, and find the comparable sizes between the two, so that way we can more predict the sizing that our pups will be whenever they go home. Now, it's not a perfect world. We don't, just like children, they can grow much beyond our imagination sometimes. And so that is a prediction, and we like the predictions that we can have with an F1B, at least in that generation. We also do an F2B because of the same thing. We can have, but we usually do a F1B parent with an F1. And again, the reasoning is because we can get those comparable sizes, comparable coloring, maybe things that we want to express out. Also, there is a gene that has facial hair or non-facial hair. And that's where I would say an F2, as long as you're willing to run the risk, F2s can have no facial hair. So that's why we usually don't breed F2s. Actually, we've never done F2s, just the pure F2s, because of the risk of pups having no facial hair. So, and that's a classic golden doodle feature. So we don't even try that right now. So I just thought I'd let you know a little bit. And then after F2s, you really get into a multi-generational, more like a actual breed standard. So you get away from some of the health vigor that some vets talk about. But you have a more standard, maybe shedding or non-shedding kind of dog, just based on the breeder and what they have found in the past litters. So there's some pros and cons. A color is often expressed not in that first generation we found. It seems to be expressed in an F1B or F2B, or they're multi-generational. The colors that are deep reds or different things that you're trying to find. It seems like often the F1 golden dominates a lot of the litters, but it doesn't always happen that way. So around here we do a lot of genetic testing to where we can pair up our moms and dads to where we can have the most desirable outcome with aptitude, facial features, all of those different things. So that way we get as much of the qualities that we want bred, and it is not just sticking two dogs together. It is designed and gene-wise to where we know what we're going to get. And party and all of those different characteristics also come into different qualities that we may be seeking. The party mix meaning the spots of ours is, in our case, it's red and white, because that's what the genes that we have. Okay, so we went over, let's see, all the different generations and the benefits of doing, especially with our case of downsizing to make a smaller dog, that we just steer away from F1s and we also steer away from F2s, just to be able to have the more quality characteristics that we're looking for. Okay, I think we've done all of that. Pup updates, that's the thing. Okay, so we measured in, and I may have them, should have them scrolling up above. Barry is our, this is our fruit litter, and he is registering right now at 5 pounds 7 ounces. Kiwi, our smallest, is 2 pounds 13 ounces, and Kiwi is reserved. We have the other ones that fall in between. They're very similar, so I'm just going to read them off and tell you which ones are available and which ones are reserved. So we also have persimmon and coconut, as well as peach and olive. Peach and olive, though, are both reserved. So that is our fruit litter, and of course they're going home. They're a couple weeks older than our breakfast litter, and we haven't announced our breakfast litter with our podcast, so I thought I'd announce that one. We have OJ, and he is reserved. Cute OJ and Grits are our two males. Grits is our other one, and he is also reserved. Hash brown, pancake, waffles, and biscuits. So we have all of those, and those are registering around 3 pounds. They're very similar in sizing, all of them. So they're a little over 3 pounds, and like I said, they're about 2 weeks shy of the other litter. So they are going to be on the larger end of the minis. You can kind of see if they're 2 weeks behind, and we're already having some of them be a little bit larger than some of our smallest in our mini litter, and our smallest mini litter. You can already tell that they are going to be that closer to that 35-pound mark, where our fruit litter should be closer to the 20-pound mark. And last week, if you didn't catch that, go back and find that one. That one we went and discussed different sizes of golden doodles, of different petite, mini, standard, all of those different categories, and how the sizing also goes into that factor. So I think that is it for this week. Now, I think I promised last week to put on our website, and I haven't done it, but we also have, remember, 2 special cases for 2 pups. One is a retiring mama, and she will be up there this week. I'm sorry about not getting it on there last week. And then we have a new poodle. He is a miniature poodle that is looking for a guardian home. So we'll have both of those hopefully up there this week, and I may be able to put it up in the corner of their photos. And if that type of situation works better for your family, give us a call. Like I said, we have several openings for our pups, and would love to give you more information, or FaceTime, or WhatsApp, or whatever it might be, to be able to communicate with you, and we want to show off our pups. Hopefully you can hear them in the background. They're all playing with one another. Thank you. Take care.